You little bastards. Yeah, you are. First, let me get this off my chest. It's important. Fox selected 9 comedians to host this year's Emmys. Ellen DeGeneres, Daryl Hammond, Conan O'Brien, Gary Shandling, Martin Short, Jon Stewart, Wanda Sykes, Brad Garrett, and George Lopez. Okay, all good. What have I missed in this business? I've never been invited to do any of these hosting jobs on any of these stupid shows on cable or regular TV my whole career. I've been around forever. It's getting a little embarrassing. Okay? I don't even want to do it. But they don't know that when they don't ask me. You know? Am I like a weirdo? Someone's going to have to tell me. Is there something just raggedy about me where you don't think you can sell your stupid products with my face out there? I'm getting mad and I'm... All right, let's talk about the jeans. The jeans, the fashion, the culture. Hi, ladies. The fashion.
Hi.
You got the culture. Jeans are getting lower. Now, they look great, obviously. That's not the issue, all right? But the issue is this good for society? You see these girls walking on the street, yeah, she look great, but people can't concentrate on other things they got to do. You know? Really, it's what they represent. It's a bacchanalian culture, you know? A pagan feast. This country was formed by the Pilgrims. You know how much work we got to accomplish in the early years? All those skanks dressed up like the Taliban ladies? Let me tell you something. If we're going to do this, fine, I understand. Look, I love it too. But at least put like scientific facts or economic news or, I don't know, biblical quotes or something, right? Just to make it work. Nobody's ever going to come back from Mardi Gras with the cure for world hunger. Now, isn't this better, you little naughty, horny little 14 to 25, whatever the age they're looking for on the channel is? They can look at them. You still have to listen to my philosophies, but you can look at them. A little better, huh? Let's face it, all right, what's the most shocking thing you've seen an underage girl wear this summer? Bobby Slayton.
I got a 15-year-old daughter who came home from camp with a new boyfriend wrapped around her. All right, to be a father, nothing can shock me more than that. The fact that she has anything on, I'm happy.
All right. I can't believe your voice is actually... Well, I'm actually envious. You should be envious of me.
We sound like
I found somebody. Bobby Collins.
Well, how about this medal these kids are wearing nowadays? This one girl was sitting next to me on a plane. She looked like she fell into a tackle box. She had 12 rings going across her eyebrows. I looked at her and I said, you should put a shower curtain up there.
All right, Sherry.
I actually saw a girl's thong sticking out above her lowriders this summer, and she was only 12, so I guess it was the training thong. Yeah, I hate thongs. Did you know they make a maternity thong? I tried one on when I was pregnant. I looked like a kangaroo in a slingshot.
Doug.
See, I enjoy the lowriders there, but I still like a little bit of mystery. I like them to come up at least high enough to hide the smell.
All right. Okay. Doug, you're as fresh as paint. I've said it before. What do you guys think of these lowriders? Are they good for society or bad? How far will it go? Doug?
I don't really care, and thanks for giving me the women's fashion for my first topic. Of all the good topics you've had on this, women's fashion. I prefer the revealing to the stuff that hides things, like the Wonder Bras, and you can't get tricked with this. No woman can have 16 kids and put on a pair of those and be able to trick you. That loose flesh is going to hang out like she's trolling burn victims.
Let me just say, look at these right here. I am so horny, I feel like a Catholic priest at Toys R Us. But, I've got a 15-year-old daughter, and I'd rather have her dress like this. I'd rather see the belly button than see her come home dressed like Paula Poundstone or Ellen DeGeneres, okay? I'd rather see this than see Birkenstocks. I think they're hot.
But it's getting a little ridiculous, though. I mean, you've heard of the phrase, you wear your heart on your sleeve. What's next? Your vagina on your belt? I mean, it's getting a bit crazy.
No, I think this is fine. You know what's amazing, though? Is that kids, and I hate to sound like an old man by saying this, but kids today, these kids today, they dress these...
You don't sound old saying that.
But you know what? When I was young, to be a slut and dress really slutty, these girls first had to, they had to get pregnant and do drugs and get tattoos and smoke, and they had to become waitresses. The girls today, you just go right to the store, you become a slut like that. The kids don't do any of the work. You need to do the work. And how does that make the real... I'm serious.
That's a good point.
Of course it's a good point.
Gives you a false sense of security that they will be a whore.
Instant slut. No, but how does it make the real sluts feel that have been working on this for years, who take the job as a waitress, and now you can just go to the Gap or some other store and just do it instantly? It's not right.
But seriously, what's going to be next? I mean, is it going to be like they have to put your clothes on to rebel? The teens, like 20 years from now, you're going to have to dress like the Amish to be rebellious? I mean, like, what's next?
If you have to dress to be rebellious, you suck.
You know, my wife is still pretty hot. She's 48 years old, but she still looks pretty good. And she goes, well, what if I dress like that? I go, if you dress like that, maybe I'd nail you once in a while. But the thing is, hey, it's my wife. Shut up.
You don't mind. I mean, I think it looks great. Fashion is beautiful, but at the same token, there's a lot of people out there that's not getting it. So I see some of these big women showing stuff, and I saw one woman the other day, she was picking her jeans. I heard a voice come out, Aflac.
Well, that's sort of like the Taliban, right? You got the Taliban. If all the women dressed in these things where they don't have to show, so it is kind of an equality in that the hot, it doesn't matter. You can't tell if the girl's hot or not. So everybody kind of...
Yes. Oh, so, but having a daughter, I kind of like that whole thing.
You do?
I kind of like the idea. I like the idea, too, on the same kind of subject that Saddam Hussein, just get off the subject for a second, it all kind of ties together, that he killed his daughter's husbands, and the daughters still love the father. And I just wish, not that I want to kill my daughter's boyfriend, but just if he would know that I could, and it would be okay, just to have that power over him. Yeah. It'd be nice to have, you don't have a daughter, so you wouldn't know, and you don't have a 15-year-old daughter and a 48-year-old wife, so one's coming of age and one's not anymore, and, you know, this one's getting breasts, and that one's getting whiskers, and she's menopausal, and she's getting zits, and my life is over.
And it's you know what's funny too, is like even the young girls, if we get like the 12-year-old girls, like they'll be wearing these low riders, and they have like tattoos, right, on the small of their backs.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I mean, that's like outrageous. Oh, it's great, it's sexy, but from a 12-year-old, it's like, who are they expecting? Company? I mean, it's strange to have that back there.
I know it's funny too when you look at this, you know, it's always like the Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera thing, which I think is really hot. And then my wife sees this and goes, you look at this, you ever think about your daughter when you look at this? I go, no, I think about my daughter's friends. I think about that. What am I think about this? I think about my daughter. My wife's a sick woman. I'm serious. She needs help.
So you don't feel like, and you know, not that you guys are responsible for the whole world, you don't feel like this is like a fall of Rome type thing, though?
If Rome falls, I'm happy to go down with it. I mean, what Rome are you talking about? Like, sexuality? Sure, open it up.
But don't you think that women have become even more objectified? It's getting crazy. I mean, what next for us? I mean, you know,
we're going to want to bone you either way. It doesn't matter.
It's just
objectified. Do you think because I want to bone you, that's objectifying you?
You want to bone me? That's fantastic.
No, we're trying to keep this on the adult level.
You're so good right now.
I got cash.
Mommy's back, baby. Mommy is back.
Folks, you go enlighten yourselves with these commercial revelations. We'll be right back. Well. FBI reports a 70% increase in teen prostitution across the country, with a growing number from middle to upper middle class backgrounds. Bobby?
Oh, boy, let me tell you something. Let's forget about that last segment when I was talking about having a 15-year-old daughter, because when we go into teenage prostitution, these are two separate situations, okay? First of all, you have a lot of young hookers. Right? No, I read about this article. So a lot of young prostitutes, they find the middle class, upper middle class, which in a lot of ways is wrong, but at the same time, you got to realize that hookers today are much better educated, because when they come from an upper middle class, I remember when I was a young man, and I would go to see prostitutes. They weren't that bright, and it was very awkward because they had nothing to talk about, okay? Now the fact that they're much better educated, and a lot of them, they're finding them in the Midwest, by the way, at the Mall of America. And I've been to the Mall of America where these housewives are fat and bored, and these young kids today don't want to grow up to be like their parents, so they finally have a way out. Where by the time they're 18 years old, they actually have money in the bank, they're professional hookers, and they get the hell out of, the Mall of America and out of Minnesota. Right. Plus the fact that I have a teenage daughter, so having young hookers, now we have something in common. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the Strokes, I could talk to them about stuff. It's the TV generation. What kind of kid wants to deliver newspapers? I'm saying it's good for young people. Encourage them to
that way, when they turn 18, 20, they can finally suck a decent dick because they've had practice. Am I wrong?
No.
It's a nice Catholic boy. But you know, the thing is too, is that like they say that they're meeting their pimps at the Mall of America. They meet 13-year-old girls meet pimps, but I guess the kids today, the parents aren't home as much. I guess the pimp provides security. So in another way, it's like, who's your daddy? Is really taken literally here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, I swear they get, and they say they get younger and younger. You know, they make more money the younger they look. Well, oh, what a shocker! Oh, ageism hits prostitution, you know, because I don't remember my grandmothers around the world. You know what I'm saying? It's very naughty, very naughty.
Seriously, you got 13. You don't have Starbucks going out and trying to recruit 13-year-old kids to work for a really crappy percentage of the profits. If you legalize prostitution, you don't have all these problems with pimps trying to pick up, you know, street kids. What?
No, I want to live in your world. The girls with the low riders, I got daughters, so I got
Well, don't you feel? All right, don't you feel? You got daughters.
Right.
Don't you feel that that the problem is, like, say, the Mall of America, pimps are allowed to roll around and troll these girls. Don't you feel like in the old school days, the cops would see a kid being a pimp, they beat his balls in, and he wouldn't be around anymore. And now they they can't even stop these guys.
Yeah, but you know, I don't think the pimps today
They're not doing anything
I mean,
illegal.
the pimps of yesteryear were like, what was that, Superfly, with like a black man with a funky hat and a feather. It was like very identified, very sexy. And now they just sort of, it could be just like some kid who looks like, you know, some kid from Connecticut in like an Adidas
Or Donny Osmond.
Exactly.
You know?
So I don't think the cops
You guys
even
haven't been to the
know
Mall
that.
of America.
Well, you know, it's funny because at the Mall of America, it's very interesting. They also have an amusement park with all these rides. So what they should have is a little sign, you must be as tall as I am to give oral. Because you should have, no, only because there should be some kind of guidelines. It shouldn't be any kid. Just make sure they're old enough, because there needs to be some safety and responsibility.
Well, what's old
and as a
enough?
parent, I've always felt that.
What's old enough? I don't even, is the issue the prostitution or the age? At what point are you, at 18, are you magically ready to...
Doug, this is what got you kicked out of the Tampa Improv that time.
When you watch Ricky Lake, there's 16-year-old girls out there, plenty ready
16,
to be, But at the same time, there's 35-year-old women who should have their puttied shut like Barbie parts because they'll never really be good at it. At what age are you
It's
ready?
true, but
Listen, on behalf
we
of
all
putting up Barbie dolls. But anyway, no. But so don't you think that if they keep going up the younger teenage girls, shouldn't we be even prosecuting the Johns? What's wrong with these men going after 12-year-old girls? I mean, what's sexy about that? It's scary. I guess if they're wearing their low risers, I guess then they are.
Well, especially 12 today, it's the new 18, I think.
Right.
And listen, in hopes of deterring crime and bad behavior, schools are installing webcams that will record every minute of a student's day. Now, this is every kid's nightmare when you went to school, right? You want to sit there and have people watching you do whatever the hell you were doing. But what do you guys think about this? Is this, you know?
It's frightening. I think privacy issues have been completely violated, and I just don't think, you know, men can be trusted to watch little girls on tape. I just don't think it's right. I mean, it's going to be like, you know, fourth graders gone wild.
Look what's happening.
Schoolgirls gone all day.
Look what's happening in the world.
Seriously. Oh, now I'm relaxing. But you know, and what if they, Catholic schoolgirls with those uniforms would be really naughty.
I didn't even think of
mean,
that.
seriously.
I didn't think
But
that either.
the point is this. Kids can't, this all goes back to my other theory of a regime, a fascist regime.
Absolutely.
In schools, they run schools now where always the crazy kids run the whole school.
Yeah.
So all the kids trying to learn, they can't run. They just sit there cowards. They can't learn nothing. They leave school early.
Oh, so you're saying, so you're
So I'm saying I approve of it.
Well,
See, I
also,
don't know.
Except for the perverted boy part.
You put cameras in schools, put them on the teachers.
Right.
It's the unchecked power that needs to be watched, and that's what you're saying.
It's not the teachers. Unchecked power. You had all these people making $30,000 a year maximum. Here were little kids. Do you think they're in there to take over the world?
You know what? Then
Oh,
take your
come
kid
on.
out of school. Take your.
It's not
If you're
unchecked
worried about
power.
the kid, homeschool them.
No,
Don't
I'm
have them
worried
and
about-
afford
Every
to.
kid that gets homeschooled is eventually killed by its mother in Texas. I mean, that's what happens. Seriously.
My daughter-
You guys paint around a dark picture of the world.
My
What do
kid-
you care? What do you care if you're innocent? What do you care if you're not doing it?
But wait a minute, why are we
if
spending-
you're not doing anything illegal while you're taking a dump, why don't we film you?
There you go.
I mean, it's Big Brother.
You should
And
worry.
instead of spending money on the webcams, why don't we just give teachers better salaries and get some textbooks in the bloody class?
It doesn't matter. The point is that if you go to any poor school, the craziest kids reign, and the other kids can't get an education. And it's partly the textbooks, but it's also partly because these crazy kids, teachers aren't allowed to hit them. They're not allowed to do nothing but stand there. It's
Those
not the
crazy
teachers'
kids
fault.
don't want to be in school. Don't make them go.
Well, nobody
kids
make
are
them
the
go.
ones-
They go because where their peers are, they can torture.
The crazy kids are the ones that need the cameras.
Yeah.
I was a crazy kid, and look what I'm doing. I'm
Exactly.
watching.
That's what happens. Who judges?
So now
Yeah,
you
I'll
should
tell
do
you who
that.
judges. There's a fine line
The
between
guy
you
at
being
the other end of the
wacky,
class.
acting up in the class, and 12 Crips in the back of the class, you know, shooting some
Absolutely.
kid because he raised his hand to answer a question.
You don't think this is a privacy issue that once you start doing, like he said, you put the cameras in the school, then there'll be the bathrooms.
Sherry, honestly, I don't use the word privacy, but limited.
I had that in
So there is no
Vietnam.
privacy
waiting
issue.
for that to come.
I'm saying, Commercials are the guideposts of our economy. Watch and learn. We'll be right back. Oh boy, nothing can ruin your day like being asked the question, where do you see yourself in 10 years? So we went out last week and ruined a bunch of people's days. I'm going to try to guess what these people think the future holds for them. Let's look at our first lovely contestant.
Where do I see myself in 10 years?
Oh, you reassuring your daughter over a Folgers Viennese blend in some nice suburban house? She's a very calm woman. Let's go to her.
Probably dead.
See, this is what I'm talking about in the world. When, like, the Irma Bombeck, like, mother figure, suburban mother figure is fatalistic. It's near the end. All right, let's, next clip.
Where I see myself in the next 10 years?
Playing slide guitar for, like, white guys at a private college that want to be a blues band. I don't know.
Doing Dick Gregory lookalikes, the #1 on the East Coast, Dick Gregory lookalikes.
What do you think, there's work for a Dick Gregory lookalike? If there's any Dick Gregory lookalike work, Dick Gregory will probably take it. Sorry for the 40 years you spent in Angola on the chain gang. All right, next clip.
Where do I see myself in 10 years?
Avenging your dojo in feudal Japan? I don't know. Where?
I hope to get a master's degree in screenplay and trying to really find movies every other year.
A master's degree in script writing and what? Silent Bob versus Godzilla? What kind of movie you gonna make? Always got that indie kind of, all right. Who's next?
Where do I see myself in 10 years?
Oh, finally settling the lawsuit against Sam Ash for when they wouldn't promote you out of percussion into amps, even though you were there the longest of any employee. I don't know, where?
Maybe in a nice flat in Soho.
Sharon! All right. Let's go to the next clip.
Where do I see myself in 10 years?
Finally ending the affair with your professor and him crawling at your feet, you in that same posture like this, and you breaking up with him with the same William Blake quote that he first seduced you with?
In Colin Quinn's bed.
She's only human. All right, we'll be right back after this. Bobby Collins.
We were poor, so poor people used to come over to my house just to feel better about themselves. I would say my favorite fashion trend back then were these knick-knick shirts. Those were the tight, upscale shirts displaying party scenes that I knew I'd never be invited to anyway.
I like the poncho, because first of all, you can hide drugs under it, you know, and liquor. You go to the concerts, and it made you look peaceful and spiritual, but you didn't look punky, because Kwai Chang Caine used to wear one at this time, and Clint Eastwood would wear one. And that's how tough Clint Eastwood really was. He could look tough wearing the same outfit that my sister wore to the concert for Bangladesh. I should have said no nukes, damn it. Well, if our show seemed a little small tonight, don't worry, you'll grow into it. Good night.